It's the R&B Show, the podcast dedicated to prep sports. Ricardo Arguello.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen, eating up all the food.
And Brett Christopherson.
This guy threw at his own kid in a father-son game.
Produced by Jim Rosendick.
The once great chef, now a study in muffishness.
And Trent Tetzloff.
Oh, you can count. Good for you.
And you can count on me waiting for you in the parking lot.
And now, the best dang prep sports duo in Wisconsin. Here's Ricardo and Brett.
Not quite. Here's Ricardo and nobody, right? Ricardo's gone. Ricardo's not here, guys. It's me, Brett Christopherson, filling in
He's a ghost.
the big seat, my seat. I didn't want to sit in Ricardo's seat, but I think we got a better show finally in store because we've got the man, the myth, the legend. I don't know what is your title, but it is Mike Sherry, Post Crescent Sports Planning Manager, Sports Editor.
Content coach.
Still
don't know what that means.
Copy editor.
But you're a coach of it.
But I'm coaching.
He's coaching, and he's here, and Ricardo is not here, guys. Thankfully, we finally get to begin episode 15 of the R&B Show minus the R. We could have called it the M&B Show, maybe, or the B&M Show. Or
Get that Bears fan out of here, you know.
Yeah.
I think we finally do have the best sports duo now that Ricardo's not here today.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, Ricardo on vacation, and first things first, I want to make sure we introduce everybody. Of course, we got the man back there, Jim Rosendick. We call him Rosie, hanging out with us as always, and then the youngster, the young guy, hanging out with us old guys. It's Trent Tetzloff.
He's a good kid.
He's back over there. He's capable.
Yeah.
But it's good to be here. I finally get to take over the show, Mike, and I think we're going to have a little fun today.
Should we tell people where Ricardo is?
Well, he's telling everybody where he is anyway. Ricardo is vacationing in New York City. He's in the Big Apple for, I guess, the remainder of this week. He's supposed to come back Friday, and
Supposed to. You never know. Maybe it just won't come back.
well, here's before we get to and it was really nice of Ricardo to leave us a script, like we couldn't handle this by ourselves, but we appreciate that, Ricardo, and we're not going to quite follow your script. We'll do the best we can though. But what are your guys' takes on the fact that Ricardo is giving everybody a play-by-play of his vacation on social media? I called it dumb with a capital D.
Well, I think he gives us a play-by-play of his entire life, doesn't
much.
it? Pretty much. So just the fact that he's doing his vacation is really nothing different. I heard he's out in New York auditioning for a role in Guys and Dolls, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Or maybe probably
that
thinks he
amongst
could,
others.
too.
Yeah.
Or Saturday Night Live. He's trying to get on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't be surprised if you see him on there.
Well, why not just put a big yard sign and say, "I'm out on vacation, robbers, come and burglarize my home." I mean, you're fundamentally, you're not supposed to be doing that. You're not supposed to put stuff when you're on vacation until you come back.
Yeah, according to the infamous don't do that. Don't post all that stuff on Facebook until you get home.
Well, I drove by his house last night and
Doors wide open.
It wasn't that hard to get in, really.
Oh, okay. All right. Just kind of open the door.
Took me 5 minutes. I was in.
Oh, okay.
I think he's going to turn into one of those street peddlers out in New York. He's going to sell his
Yeah.
hip hop album out there.
That's
on the
right. Well,
streets.
he thinks he can sing. I know he brags about his karaoke skills, which I've yet to go to, nor will I ever go to check out.
Where is that at?
The Burger Bar.
Oh,
okay.
God. I saw him sing there once. It was...
Yeah, he gets into it. I was
Really?
I went there. That was probably a year ago now, but he was singing whatever song. He's got his go-to song.
Oh, okay.
I forget what. I forget what it is, but it's his go-to song, and he gets into it.
Well, Trent, you didn't even finish your thought on that. It was what?
I'll just leave it at that. It wasn't as good as I think he thinks it was.
Yes. The diva getting brought down a little bit.
This is a Ricardo roast. Let's get back to
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Let's get back to
Hey,
it.
Ricardo, we love you. So have
We
fun
do
in New
love
York
you.
City. But enough with the social media posts because while we care about you, we don't care that much, okay?
I liked the Merry Christmas one. So
Yeah, I mean, no
was
sooner than he
nice.
was off the plane, he's putting stuff on Facebook. I mean, I'm surprised we didn't get to watch the entire flight over, but whatever.
Live stream.
Anyway, this is, I guess, episode 15 of our second season.
15.
Still haven't been canceled yet, but
Nope.
a lot to get to. No varsity roundtable tonight. We'll talk about that later on in the show, but we're on hiatus, obviously, because Ricardo's gone. We've got, what was the schedule like, guys? We will be back full force next week, I believe, with an R&B show next Wednesday at noon, and then a varsity roundtable at 7. And then the following week is Christmas week. We will take the complete week off. So
Can't believe it's Christmas already.
it's going to be 2019 before you know it.
couldn't believe how fast the fall season went, and now we're already, some teams are 8 or 9 games into their basketball season already.
I was looking at that because that's going to be one of our topics, boys and girls basketball. We can get to that right now, but I think there were some girls teams when I was looking at the records had 8, 9 games. I think one team was 2-7 already.
Yeah.
They're almost halfway through.
They're not from our area, but Sussex Hamilton boys, I was reading our colleague J.R. Radcliffe wrote something, played their first game of the season last night.
I saw that too. What was
I couldn't believe that. I don't know.
With Patrick Baldwin, obviously the real talented, one of the country's top recruits. Actually, a couple guys down in the southeast part of the state now, nationally known recruits. But I was wondering why. What's today, the 12th? So December 11th, you're taking that long to get your first boys game in? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I know some traditional football powers will schedule their games a little later because they know that,
Kimberly being one.
Yeah. They finally got smart. Years and years of having to reschedule their first couple of games when they played in the level 4 or level 5 of the football season.
Yeah, I just thought it was really odd.
Yeah, that was an odd. I'm sure they're an anomaly, but I saw that and that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, actually, my son plays on Little Chute, and they got a late start because their first game of the season was a non-conference game right after Thanksgiving, supposed to be against West Appear. Well, West Appear football obviously made it to the state final, so and Little Chute was in the state semifinals, so I think they just came up to an agreement if one of those two teams were to go to Madison that they would just back it up a little bit. So I thought the Mustangs got off to a late start, but wow, Sussex Hamilton finally getting game 1 under the belt. They're gonna have to cram in some games here pretty soon. I wonder if they have some tournament type stuff too with how good they are, and so, usually the top teams in the state play in those showcase tournaments like the WBY stuff coming up down in I think that's Mequon or Concordia University. I think host that stuff. So something to keep an eye on. But if we want to follow Ricardo's script, Mike and guys, he has topic number 1, boys and girls basketball. Ricardo doing the G10 rankings for hoops like he did for prep football, Mike. And I guess we can take a look at the list, and that includes all of our USA Today Network Wisconsin markets: Appleton, Green Bay, Fondy, Oshkosh, Manitowoc, Sheboygan, Stevens Point, Rapids, Wausau, and Marshfield. How about that?
Wow, that was smooth.
Wow.
Didn't do it alphabetically,
now,
but
now do it alphabetically and backwards.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I have a kind of a way I remember how our G10 is set up. But he's got teams represented in all of those markets on boys and girls basketball state rankings. And let's look at the boys, Mike. Let's go down the list here. He's got and some things have changed obviously because of games being played yesterday, but his overall team, top team on the boys' side, Waupun, a Division III power, 4-0 according to his rankings, and he says Warriors haven't allowed opponents to score more than 41 points this season. Do you like them being number 1 overall?
Well, obviously it's always tricky when you're talking about a Division III school being number 1, and then you have a Division I school like Kimberly right behind them at number 2. What would happen if they faced each other? We won't find out, but. Pound for pound, as Ricardo likes to call these rankings, it's hard to argue with Waupun being number 1. I mean, there's not many teams that are going to challenge them this year.
I'm trying to think of the players. Don't they have one of the top?
Marcus Domask, he's I think Northern Kentucky recruit. I want to say Division II school.
Yeah, he's verbally committed to Northern Kentucky, averaging 35 points a game.
I saw him. Well, I've seen him I saw him at state a couple years ago when Waupun won the Division III state championship. According to Mark Miller in the Wisconsin Basketball Yearbook, he's got Waupun going to the D3 final, losing to Racine St. Catherine's, and that's coached by former UW Stevens Point star Nick Bennett, the son of Jack Bennett, by the way. So implementing the Bennett style of basketball down there in Racine. But
hold on, let me check my watch, see how long it took Brett to make a Stevens
Point
reference.
Exactly. Surprised he didn't say the Harvard of the Midwest.
It is the Harvard of the Midwest, by the way. I'm very proud of my degree, as is my wife.
I can't say the same about my stout Blue Devils. I believe they got beat by almost by 60 points last night.
Who saw UWGB, Sandy Cohen?
Yeah, why is GB playing Division III schools? That's terrible.
We were talking about that last night. I mean,
I don't know.
Come on,
I think it was like 125 to 48 or something.
That's their second D3. Didn't they open against a D3 school?
Yeah, possibly.
Wisconsin Lutheran, I think. They were the first men's basketball game played nationally.
Well, the Badgers played UW Oshkosh this year, too. They had like a game against them right away.
That might have been an exhibition, though.
That was an exhibition game, and then it was also the coaches know each other, and they did that guarding against cancer benefit, so that was kind of a mutual decision to play that game.
Okay, well that makes sense then.
Yeah, I think Green Bay had like a 30-0 run last night in the first half against Stout. It's like
you got to schedule D1 opponents. Come on, I mean that's ridiculous.
Well, again, I don't know how hard it is. I know Green Bay has a hard time getting some schools to want to come here and play here.
Yeah, just when I was gonna wear my Stout sweatshirt today, and nope, I gotta put it back. So
put it back. Pointers would have given them a little bit more of a run, I'm sure.
Harvard of the Midwest.
But anyway, Waupun #1 and coached by Dan Domask, Marcus's father. So they are the consensus to certainly be. They're on the short list of Division III champions. And I saw Waupun play this summer, and yeah, they look good. And I know they have a transfer from Fond du Lac. So that helps. One of their top players went up the road to play at Waupun.
Yeah,
so
Quinton Winterfeld, I think.
Yeah. Well, actually, Fond du Lac lost another kid to New Holstein, so Fond du Lac really struggling right now on both on the boys' side. But anyway, I'll run down Kimberly #2. I think I would put Kimberly #1. They're really looking really good under Lucky Wirtz. John Milkey now part of that staff. Boy, you got Jake Buchanan really lighting it up. Levi Borchert. A beast on the glass and really taking over a scoring role and leadership role. So I'm very impressed with what I see of Kimberly. Yeah. And then they got a lot of pieces, a lot of guys who know their roles.
Not just it. It's not just Buchanan and Borchard. I mean, they've got any given night they've got 4 or 5 guys who can easily get double figures and a real strong team top to bottom. Absolutely. So Papermakers looking pretty good. And I know again Mark Miller has the Papermakers going to the Division I state championship. That's his prediction. Manitowoc Roncalli ranked #3. Like those guys a lot. Chambi Lambert, I've seen that kid all the way from the youth levels. My son used to play their teams a lot. And for a D4 school, they used to be D3. They dropped to D4. Good luck trying to stop Chambi Lambert. That kid is fast, is explosive, and I see no reason why they can't repeat as the Division IV state champs. Yeah, I knew of Chambi, but I didn't see him in person until the state tournament last year, and then getting a chance to see him play twice at Cole Center last year. Man, was he smooth. Is he getting any looks from anybody? I'd have to look that up. He might be getting more like D3 NAI. I know he's on the shorter stature, unfortunately, but man, he's explosive, and one of those programs is going to get a nice basketball player. Yeah. Hopefully, Stevens Point. Maybe UW or my Eau Claire Blue Golds. Oh, it's a possibility. Yeah, too. Whatever, you guys. Kakana #4 in the rankings. I think it's a little bit of a work in progress for the Ghosts right now. I think they're going to be fine as the season goes along, but I know they lost to Kimberly. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Sheboygan Lutheran, that's another team. Watch out for those guys in D5, I believe. They might be on the short list of state contenders as well. Yeah, they got one of the state's top scorers, that Jacob Agnasovic. He can fill it up. I think he's averaging like 32 a game this year. Yeah, crazy. Actually, there's been some big performances. When we'll note that, especially with the kid in Menasha last night, but been some big-time scoring. Now, you know that Sam Decker loves the fact that Sheboygan Lutheran is doing some good things as well, the newest Washington Wizard. Green Bay Southwest is 6th, Merrill is 7th. Merrill coached by Jake Shallow, right. the son of Mike Shallow, the Kaukauna coach. You know he's going to do some things in Merrill. I think he's going to build that into a really nice team in the Wisconsin Valley. Yeah, and they just played here this weekend at that tournament in Kaukauna. Yeah, smart to come on over and get good competition, because the Wisconsin Valley definitely taking a little bit of a dip again. Spash nowhere near what it has been in recent years. They've lost a lot of talent. Appleton West, watch out for Brendan Hussey's guys. They're off to a great start. He's got the Terrors ranked 8th. I like what those guys are doing. In fact, I believe they just beat Neenah last night. Marathon #9, and look, the Wrightstown Tigers 10th. Although they took one on the chin, they lost to Luxembourg Casco last night. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier before the show. That was a surprise. It was a surprise. Might have to move Luxembourg Casco now in that top 10 because the Spartans are undefeated. Quickly on the girls' side, Kimberly #1, no surprise. Maddie Schreiber, Shay Deckant, Taylor Hippis, all very talented. Kimberly looks like they're poised to. I know everybody's tired about talking about Kimberly, but you got to give them their props. They're good. They're good at everything. Yeah. You know, Kimberly, Troy Collins teams were always known for defense, but they're putting up some points this year. They actually, the girls you mentioned, they can really score this year. They're not just beating teams 35-32 like they have in the past. Yeah, we streamed that game, right, Rosie, with Hortonville. They got out and they were out a little bit more transition, a little bit more fast paced. I know Hortonville kind of took it to them in the first half in that game. Kimberly won it offensively, and then we talked about that at halftime. I said, this is not a Troy Cullen defense. He cannot be happy with how the Papermakers are playing defensively. In the second half, they really locked down Hortonville and kind of pulled away. Whatever they needed to adjust in that second half, they did. And because what was it, 34-31 at the half? Yeah, I think so. I was like, wow, this is a high-scoring game for Troy, and they got the offensive firepower. They put it together with that defense that he likes to play. Ooh, look out.
Look out for the Papermakers. Bayport number 2. Emma Nagel doing some good things for the Pirates. They're undefeated. Laconia over in Rosendale. They're having a good season.
Very,
Mike.
yeah, very good team. Very good team.
Appleton North ranked 4th. We'll talk about them. Wrightstown ranked 5th. Howards Grove 6th on the girls' side. De Pere 7th. Amherst 8th. Valders, the Vikings 9th. And Kewanee number 10. Appleton West, I think maybe deserves to be on that top 10 as well, but I know he has to spread it out. So let's talk about some surprises so far early. But we're getting, at the holidays stretch here, and then the calendar flips to January, and then it gets really, the schedule really hits a regular pace, and there's going to be probably 2 games a week. Maybe some teams that might even squeeze in 3. But let's talk about the boys' side first. Anything surprise you, Mike, so far in the early stages?
Well, the Oshkosh schools in the FVA. Oshkosh North, obviously defending Division I champions, kind of had an up and down start. People didn't know how they would react to Tyrese being gone. Speaking of Tyrese, what he's doing at Iowa State, fantastic.
Set the assist record there the other night.
Right.
17 assists in a game. Oh, incredible.
Yeah, but I think Oshkosh North might still make some noise in the FVA, and then you got Oshkosh West as well. I mean, everybody knows about Kimberly. Everybody knows about Kaukauna. You mentioned Appleton West, and even Appleton East is playing well this year with new coach Adam Malik. Teams used to watching Appleton East. It's a little different style of basketball this year. The scoreboard looks a little different this year at Appleton East. So I don't know. My surprise is that the FEA is going to be very interesting this year.
Yeah, it's going to be wide open. We've talked about that a few times. Both boys and girls side, I think there's a lot of wide open races in these conferences. I want to backtrack and go to the Bay. I think that's my surprise is Menasha. They're 3-2 overall, 1-0 under Sam Kozlowski, former Zephyr,
right?
Doing some good things. And Jacob Everson, first in the league in scoring for the Blue Jays at 31.2 points per game. Ben Romnick, third at 26.6. Blue Jays averaging nearly 83 points.
Jeez.
They're getting up and down, and they beat
Wow.
West Appear 85-76 yesterday. And Everson, the all-time Blue Jay leading scorer, boys and girls, surpassed the great Tracy Edwards, who started at EW Milwaukee.
Right, yeah.
I remember doing a story on Tracy Edwards and talking to Kevin Borseth, and he was lamenting how he let her go. He should have recruited her a little bit harder. She was fantastic. But congratulations to young Jacob Everson, 32 points in the victory against West Appear, and they are really lighting it up. And that Bay Conference is kind of a weird league right now.
And I think Romnick had 35 last night, so you got 67 points out of 2 guys last night. And yeah, the Bay is different this year. Obviously, Xavier has kind of owned that conference the last few years, but I think they'll still factor in it this year for sure. But it's not going to be Xavier and everybody else this year.
No, I know Seymour was have big plans on contending, but they're 2-3 overall. You're looking at the conference record; they're 1-0. Xavier with a big win over New London. I see last night. New London, an up and coming team with Kurt Schomer, but credit Matt Klarner for the Hawks. But the Hawks are 2-2 overall. But I think they'll factor in Nick Otto's a sharpshooter. Henry Egan's been tough, so they got some pieces in place for the Hawks. But we might have to stream a Menasha game this year. Maybe Menasha Xavier or something. Give the Blue Jays a little bit of love on the boys' side because they're filling it up.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, looking again, you mentioned the FVA. Kimberly right now 4-0. I think Kimberly's the class of that conference. I was really I'm high on Nina, but then they lost to Appleton West last night. So, and that's no disrespect to Appleton West, but good win for the Terrors. They're going to be up there, and Kaukauna, is going to be heard from. But I think Kimberly, the class of that league.
Yeah, I would agree. Nina's interesting. They're scoring a lot of points, but I don't think their defense right now is playing at a level that Lee Robis would want them to play at. You look at some of their scores, and they're scoring, but they're giving up a lot of points on the other end too.
And let's give a little love to Chris Kellett and Appleton North. A big victory over Oshkosh West. They pounded the Wildcats.
Weren't they ranked at the start of the year coming in? They were one of the top teams in the FVA.
They were on the short list of contenders for the FVA, and West's got that kid who's really lighting it up as well. But they're
Carter Thomas.
They've taken a little bit of a nosedive.
Well, their big guy, Luke Hassel, 6'9", 6'10" kid. He's missed their last 2 games, which I think they've lost both of them without him. So that's a huge loss. But you're right, Appleton North, Chris Kellett doing a great job. Very young. I mean, if you look at that roster, they're last year when they struggled, the good thing about it is they got a lot of young kids some playing time. I think a few of them were freshmen last year on the varsity. So they've benefited from that experience.
Yeah, and you look a team that struggled to just pick up a victory. I don't. Did they even win a game last year? I think they were.
They didn't win a single one.
It was
0-21 or something
yeah,
like that.
they're already 3-4 and 2-2 in the FVA. I thought that was a great hire. I think Chris is going to do a great job. He did good things in Shawano. He's got he fits the FVA profile. He's a NINA graduate, and he's got the Lawrence University experience as well, being an assistant coach over with the Vikings. Quickly, guys, let's move to the Northeastern. Talk about I think that's a wide open conference. Although give credit to Luxembourg, Casco, they beat Wrightstown yesterday, 63-54. The Tigers Spartans held Tigers sharpshooter Mason Hazer to just 11 points. The next kid was really filling it up. Wasn't even missing shots. He was like 16 of 16 the last game.
Yes, the previous game he was 16 for 16 on 2-point shots. I think he missed a couple 3-pointers, but did not miss from inside the arc.
It'll be really interesting to see what the Casco did. Casco, I think, was picked 6th or 7th by the Wisconsin basketball yearbook in the Northeastern. So I'm a little surprised by what's going on. But I think there are a lot of really good seniors spread out in that league. I think there's 5, even 6 teams that are gonna maybe take turns beating each other up. But right now, if you ask me, Casco, Freedom, Wrightstown, Marinette, and Denmark are your top 5 teams. And I saw Denmark firsthand last night. I was talking to Mike Sherry about this. Again, my son playing for Little Shoot. That Patrick Sumnick, 6'7", 29 points. I think he had 6 dunks. Phenomenal performance. Steps out, hits. I think he hit a 3. He's gonna play somewhere at the next level, and I don't know how you defend him. He's not only 6'7", but he's long, he's strong, and he's athletic. We tried Little Shoe tried to front him, tried backside help, tried zone, dominant. And Zane Short, another kid. And the scary thing about Denmark, if they put it all together because they were knocking down threes, their starting point guard Brady Jens was not playing, and he's really good. I think he's got an ankle injury, so that's a team. If they can put it together, watch out. Denmark can make some serious noise just because of their length and strength.
Yeah, well, it's cliche, but any night in the Northeastern Conference, you have no idea who's going to win out of the top half of the conference.
Yeah, and I look at Freedom with John Myron doing some good things defensively. They're locking teams up, slowing it down, it looks like. They beat Denmark, I think, 51-38 earlier this year, so crazy. But, and then as far as Little Shoot goes, with the new coach, Jake Van Roy, I think it's a feeling out. They got a lot of seniors, a class that's won a lot in a lot of sports coming up, so I think they'll be fine. I think when you look at the Mustangs, Noah Miller being the leader of that team, I think it's going to be a team that might have to take some lumps early, but they're going to kind of round into form. And by tournament time, I think that's going to have to be the goal for these guys, is be playing their best basketball this season going into the February, March.
Yeah, well, you said a new coach plus, football team made a long run into the playoffs. Several of their key basketball players were key football players as well. It takes time to get your basketball legs under you, and especially when you're trying to learn a new system. So
new system, doing some different things, pushing a little bit offensively, defensively. So I think they'll be fine, but they have a tough stretch, and sometimes you got to take your lumps when you're making a transition. But hopefully that could maybe be a silver lining as you look at towards the end of the season and see what happens. So girls' side, looking at the Bay, Shawano and West Appear, the leaders at 3-0. Menasha doing some good things. The Blue Jays' Alexa Yost, she's averaging 16.3 points per game, so she's off to a nice start. So some good things going on with the Blue Jays, boys and girls basketball.
Yeah, it's good to see. It's really good to see Menasha. Their football program has been strong for years, and kind of everybody, talks. It's a shame that the rest of their programs aren't at the level that their football team is. So it's nice to see that they're finally getting there with some of those other sports. Yeah,
and then you move to the FVA, Kimberly and Appleton North on top, both 4-0. Appleton West, Jim Brown's Terrors really looking good too. A big game between the Terrors and Appleton North on Friday at North. Big inter-city matchup, so that's gonna maybe see who takes round one there. But Appleton North doing some good things, even with the coaching change over there as well.
Yeah, and I know Jim Brown at West was very disappointed with how they played against Kimberly. That they fell behind big early, and he was not pleased with that.
Didn't even send you stats.
Didn't even send me stats. He said our team doesn't deserve stats from this game. So, which is funny, but hey, whatever.
Calm down. It's only high school basketball.
Yeah, but I know he took that loss hard. But other than that game, they've been really good at Appleton West, and Appleton East girls been very good, and Appleton North was kind of the wild card this year. Losing Sydney Levy, who's doing good things at Milwaukee right now, and Kari Brecky, who was just the Conference Player of the
Saw
Year
that.
at New Hampshire.
Of the week, yeah.
Yeah, Conference Player of the Week. Yeah, sorry. And then obviously with the new coach taking over for Coach Russum, I think people kind of were sitting back, kind of waiting to see what Appleton North would be like. But I think are they as good as last year? Probably not. But they're certainly a contender.
Yeah, and give Appleton East some love. La Chapelle doing some. She's a scorer.
Yeah, Emily LaChapelle,
Yep.
freshman, averaging close to 20 points
That's
a game.
incredible as a freshman. Boy, there is. You look at the FEA. There is lots of really good young talent in that league. It's going to be fun to watch in the next couple of years. Hortonville with Macy McGlone. Quickly, Papermakers ranked 3rd in Division I this week's coaches poll. Terrors are 9th. Hortonville 4th in Division II. So 3 teams ranked in the top 10 in the respective divisions. Shows us the strength of the FEA again.
Yeah.
Northeastern 2, Mike Sherry, Wrightstown and Freedom look like the clear-cut favorites, although O'Connell Falls and Luxembourg Casco right behind with 1 loss. Wrightstown 5-0, Freedom 4-0, O'Connell Falls and Luxembourg Casco 3-1. Wrightstown ranked 3rd in Division III in this week's coaches poll. Freedom is 9th. Ella Denny of Wrightstown leading the conference in scoring at 23.5 points per game. Little Chute's Hannah Vandenberg, she's next at 20.2 points. She's also the league's top rebounder at 10.5 points. Wrightstown, Bridget, let me say this again. Bridget Frolke, 8.6 assists. Boy, I'm having a hard time. I need water. I need eggnog.
Yeah, there you go.
Is this where Ricardo says we're going to take a timeout?
I'm trying to read too fast here. Wrightstown's Bridget Frolke, she has 8.6 assists per game. That's 2nd in the state.
Wow.
And looking at ahead, Mike, to those matchups, Wrightstown and Freedom, January 3rd at Freedom, February 15th at Wrightstown. That's another conference, though, that even though it seems like those are the 2 best teams, it's still there's a lot of talent and some. Don't forget about Casco with Cassie Schultz, the UW Milwaukee recruit.
Yeah, Luxembourg Casco is always going to be up there. I think Wrightstown is clearly the class of the conference again this year, though. Because you talked about Denny and you talked about Frolke, but they've got several other players that. It's not just those 2.
But it goes to show you that we talked about, the star power, especially on the boys' side, seems to be gone with the big names, of course, with Halliburton and McCabe and the showcase teams. But it's good. There's a lot of talent on both boys and girls. You might not know their names necessarily, but these races are going to be very interesting. They're kind of wide open, and even a middle-of-the-pack team in any of those leagues could make some damage in the tournament.
Yeah, well, we've covered state basketball together the last few years, and we always have teams there, and we're going to have a lot of teams there again this year, whether it's at Cole Center for the boys or the Resch Center for the girls. I mean, this area is a hotbed for basketball. It has been for a long time, and this year, like you said, maybe not the star power, but as far as quality teams, we have just as many as we always have.
And again, those teams in the middle of the league could be very dangerous, especially if you drop down a division, and we'll see what happens there. But should be fun. It's only December, so sit back and buckle up, Rosie.
That's right.
We got a lot of live streams coming up, but it's going to be a lot of fun. No live stream this week, unfortunately, just because of Ricardo. I asked Ricardo, we wanted to do a live stream on Friday night. We were thinking about actually Little Chute at Wrightstown Boys, Mike Sherry brought up the fact that Ricardo will be flying into O'Hare and then driving up from Chicago on Friday.
Yeah.
So he said maybe you want to check with Ricardo to see how he feels about making sure he could be here on time, because that would be a game if we stream it. I would not be a part of it just because of the conflict of interest, that sort of thing. So I texted Ricardo. I said, how confident are you that you'll be back? He said, pretty confident, at least 80%.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I said we can't do that. We need 100%.
And if Ricardo says 80%, it's more like 20.
Yeah.
And if he says he's going to be on time, that means he's only going to be a half hour late.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
So and me just calling the game is not going to cut it. Yeah.
We could have done one of those silent broadcasts.
We could, yeah.
Maybe the new Ted Davis for the Bucks, the lone radio announcer.
Yeah.
No, I think we had to make the choice. Just I didn't want Rosie being there all by himself and where's Ricardo? Rosie, he's not here. Oh no! So we're not going to do a live stream this
It'd be
week.
like the blonde kid passes it to the brown-haired kid. The tall guy gets it inside. He makes it. What a shot!
You couldn't work 2 cameras, a scoreboard, and do play-by-play all at the same time.
Come on,
Probably
Rosie.
not.
And book.
I can try it.
And keep a scorebook. And,
Yeah.
And do some commentary. Come on.
Rosie and I we've done it
try.
together ourselves, and we probably will
Yeah.
again later on because Ricardo gets busy with state wrestling and all that. But we've done it. Although again, there's a former coach that has raised his hand to be part of our streams if we ever need him. So I think we'll definitely tap his shoulder and take advantage of that at due time. But we'll see. But maybe next week we can do a couple streams. There's a really good girls game on Tuesday, and maybe follow it up with a boys game on Thursday night. We'll see how it goes. We'll figure it out. But no varsity roundtable tonight as well. Again, we'll be back next Wednesday just because Ricardo's not going to be here, and it's kind of tough when he sort of runs the show. So it'd be like him doing Clubhouse Live. I don't think that would work too well either.
Yeah.
But it'd be a lot of booze.
A lot of booze.
A lot of booze.
Well, next topic, we're going to skip top stories from this past fall season because we're running out of time, but we can always touch on that, I think, down the line. So our fantasy draft, Ricardo set this up. I wasn't real crazy about this, guys, but Ricardo is suggested we go with the most overrated bands and musical artists of all time. I wanted to switch it to a different category, but Rosie and Mike Sherry overruled me, and 2 against 1 is not a fair fight. I know, Trent, you were on my side, but I'm sorry, Trent. I had to go with the old grizzled veterans here.
That's right.
Well, we had a pre-show meeting, and it got pretty heated.
Yeah.
Just in the, in the pre-show
in
meeting, it got heated. So we thought, let's go with that topic.
Yeah.
So most overrated bands and musical artists, and I don't even think I'm going to put it on Twitter. I'll just I'll run it because I'm not really – I like music. I'll listen to music, but I'm not into music. I'm not really like that. It's not that big of a deal.
So
to
then
me,
you'd
frankly.
be a fair judge.
So I think I'll be a fair judge, and
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll know the groups. But how should we do this? Since Mike's here, should we give him first round, first pick?
Yep.
So we'll go Mike, and then what do you think, Trent? Should we go Mike, Trent, and Rosie?
Yeah, I think so. That's good.
You want second or you
That's
want
fine.
third?
You with that?
Fine.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
cool with whatever.
And then we'll do the Mike,
Excellent.
Trent, Rosie, Trent, Mike. So you guys will always get 2 picks. Unfortunately, you don't get to back. But I can tell you're like me, Trent. You really don't care about this category, so it's like whatever.
Yep.
How can you not care about this? This is huge.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was liking the mascot idea. That was
that's what I wanted best.
Yeah, you should
Wisconsin
see the
High
list
School
that he has
mascot.
for
Yeah, I was
mascots.
doing my
It's
research.
crazy.
Well, maybe we should give Trent a few minutes just to rattle off his list.
I looked up some musicians, so we're good.
Okay.
I did my
All right.
research.
Okay.
Well, maybe we'll do that, Trent, next week. I
Dear,
think that'd
dear
be-
Surrey, who should I not like?
yeah. You should not like.
I think that'd be a good category for next week, though. Ricardo will have no say in it. So even though he likes to control things,
Even better.
even while he's in New York, he's trying to control this show, but it's not working. So, all right, Mike Sherry, I'll keep track of everything, and you start us off. What do you got?
Wow, this is pressure. I mean, obviously all these bands are phenomenal to some people,
Yeah.
but to some people they don't resonate. They don't click with certain people.
No.
And these are the bands that for some reason they just never clicked with me. I'm going to start with Pink Floyd.
Ooh, okay.
Right off the
Oh,
shoot.
okay.
Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
The Wall. Yeah, that was a good song. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
But just never really got into Pink Floyd. So.
I gotcha. I Trent, you're up next.
Okay, for me, number 1 would be Nirvana.
Ooh,
Wow.
That's kind of like my college years.
Yeah.
Nirvana was a big deal back then.
I gotta agree on that one though.
Wow. Speaking of Nirvana, that new hockey team, the expansion team in Seattle, they're looking for a name. I thought Seattle Grunge. Wouldn't the Grunge be a great name for a hockey team?
See, I felt like they
Yeah.
only became popular because of that whole grunge period in Seattle. That's kind of how they
Yeah,
became popular.
'cause-
And Seattle, I don't know. I just wasn't a big fan. I'm just not a big fan.
Well, you had them, Nirvana, Alice in Chains,
Yep.
Soundgarden, all those guys from Seattle had just a slew of.
You surprised I know these people at my age?
Nirvana,
Yeah,
I kind
kinda.
of like Nirvana.
See,
though.
I like Nirvana, but obviously they didn't have the staying power of a lot of bands. So.
But
Well,
Kurt
then
Cobain
I was going to
come
say
up with-
they lost their lead guy though. Too,
Yeah,
right.
Obviously.
Yeah, but I also kind
Dave
of wonder
Grohl.
sometime. Yeah, Dave Grohl, and but it's always like, was Kurt Cobain always on heroin? All this time. Is that how he thought up all this cool stuff? With his.
Did Dave
I don't-
Grohl?
It's kind of like the Morrison with the Doors.
Oh, I love the Doors. Did Dave Grohl form Foo Fighters after Nirvana, or was he kind of? How did that go?
I think it was after.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
after.
I thought it was
exactly-
after.
That was his.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Rosie, you're third. You're up.
I'm gonna go, and a lot of people probably kick me for this. I'm gonna go with the Dave Matthews Band.
Oh,
Just he's never
that's
done.
a good one.
He's never done anything for me. It's just like, what is the big deal with him?
I guess you got to see them in person. That's what everybody says.
See,
They're a jam.
yeah.
They're a jam band, and if you see them in person, you're in awe. But
Yeah,
as a radio band, yeah.
and that's just it. It's like there's another band on my list that's gonna be. People are probably gonna be like, "Are you out of your mind?" And I'll be like, "Well, I've never seen them live, so I can't say."
All right. So Pink Floyd, Nirvana, Dave Matthews Band. Rosie, you get another pick.
I'm gonna go with the Grateful Dead.
I would agree with that one. Yes.
I agree. I had them on my list as well.
What's his the one guy that just
Jerry
loves it?
Garcia?
Jerry
Oh
Garcia.
no,
The announcer for ESPN that just is in love with it. He always does the Pac-12 games.
Oh yeah,
Bill
Bill Walton.
Bill Walton.
Yeah.
He always is bringing them up. And
Yeah, he loves.
for that reason alone, I agree with you there.
Bill Walton is he's
down, big man.
I think Bill Walton has toured with the Grateful Dead.
Oh my
probably
god.
had.
Yeah,
it's deplorable.
I'm not a big Deadhead guy.
Yeah, I mean they've got a couple of songs that are cool, but I just never got. But apparently, you got to see them live. I mean, they used to tour for like a week at Alpine Valley, and they were just sold out shows immediately. And I'm like,
I remember when
Okay.
Jerry Garcia died. I was working before I got into journalism. I was basically just out of college, and some couple people there were crying. Some coworkers, what are you crying about? You don't even know this guy. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. If you ask me to name a Grateful Dead song, I could probably name one song by the Grateful Dead. I'm sorry to admit that, but
Touch of Grey.
Touch of Grey was kind
that's
of
the one. Yeah.
Yeah, or no, well, there's no one.
Zero.
See, now I can't even remember it. Whatever. I can't. It was one of their bigger hits, and I can't even remember it now.
Well, that goes to show you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Trent.
I'm gonna have to go with Nickelback.
Ooh.
A lot of people would agree here.
An excellent choice.
Okay, Nickelback. That's kind of a
that's
polarizing.
that's a dagger right to the heart of guys who like 90s music like I do.
Yeah, Trent's going 90s big time right now.
Their
Mike
songs
Sherry,
all sound the same.
you got 2 picks now, Mike.
Well, this one might stun a few people, but again, a band that just never clicked with me, The Who.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
You know,
I like this.
See, I like the Who also. Yeah.
I do too.
Roger Daltrey, good voice. Pete Townsend. I mean,
Yeah.
I just never got into their music.
Wow.
What's that song that's got that long intro? It's been used for TV shows.
Oh, We Won't Get Fooled Again.
Yeah, I like that song.
Yeah.
That was the CSI Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use that
Yep.
as a theme
It's a
song.
good.
That's probably what made them famous. I think for me,
Yeah.
that's.
Well, I'm pretty sure The Who was famous before
Well, yeah.
before CSI
Yeah.
Miami.
But I'm saying that song did. That
Yeah, that
was.
song got him. Yeah. All right, Mike, you got another one. Round 3.
Well,
coming up.
Ricardo's not here, so I'm going to stick this right in his face. I'm going to say Kiss.
Ooh,
Oh.
that hurts Rosie too.
That hurts me too. Yeah. You didn't see my Kiss Pez
I
guys?
have. I have seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kiss in the '70s. I mean, I had some Kiss.
Yeah.
I had Kiss albums. I was.
yeah.
I was into Kiss mostly because my friends
Yeah.
were. But
In the 80s and the 90s.
what happened? What happened after that?
Ah, they still had good music then.
Lick It Up.
Yeah, Look It Up was a great album. Then Animalize. Then,
The
granted,
Odyssey.
a few of them after that, like Crazy Nights, that was kind of so-so. But Hot in the Shade was good. Psycho Circus, that was a good album. When their comeback.
It's just Kiss is one of those bands. When you think
Yeah.
of Kiss, you think of the spectacle. You think of the stage show
Yeah.
and the
Or Gene Simmons
and the
trying to,
merchandising more than you do the music.
Or Gene Simmons trying to copyright everything.
Everything.
You know. But
Trent-
yeah, the seeing him live was great. It was awesome. So
All right, we got to wrap this up here quickly. Trent, what do you got next?
Okay. You either love her or you're a hater. Taylor Swift.
Mm.
oh yeah, I can see.
All of her songs are about broken relationships
Yep.
that she had.
Yep.
I think she just gets in these relationships, breaks up with them, and then
Angry
so she can
woman.
write another song. That's all it is. So.
I got a teenage daughter, so I'm a big Taylor Swift fan.
Ah, okay. Yeah, well,
We once drove to Menominee, Wisconsin, to visit my son at UW Stout.
Yes.
Drove to Stout and back in the same day, and we listened to all the Taylor Swift CDs that my daughter brought with. On a consecutive loop,
Oh,
all the way
wow.
there and all the way back.
Ouch.
How?
No.
Oh yeah. we did.
Wow. So you now conformed. Huh?
So I'm.
You know the show's
if nothing,
live,
If
Mike,
nothing
right?
else, I'm dad of the year.
Yeah.
for doing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Got my
crazy.
vote.
That'd have made my ears bleed. Rosie, you got 2 more.
Let's see. One. A lot of people will hate me for this one. Drake.
Oh,
don't-
I would agree with you there.
I don't get it. I don't get the love for Drake. Sorry.
Didn't I think
Maybe music listening, but
don't
I think
Ricardo
Elaine
listens-
Bennis on Seinfeld loved the Drake, didn't she? Or that was
Did
something,
she?
That was
Yeah, it
something
might have been
else.
something
Yeah,
else,
it was
yeah.
something else.
Rosie, you got one more.
Let's see. I'm going to go with. Even though I really love their early stuff, their latter just doesn't do anything for me. The Rolling Stones.
Mm.
I absolutely love their early stuff, but I don't know. It was like after Voodoo Lounge or something. They just, I don't know.
I agree. I had them on my list. I was going to say them next if somebody didn't.
Yeah.
Late 60s, early 70s, that was some really good music.
Yes,
but,
yes, it was. Fantastic.
Trent, you got one more?
Pitbull.
Ooh.
Playing in the Super Bowl? I mean, that was...
Mr. Worldwide?
I'm not a fan. He's all show. I don't think he's a good singer. I'm just not a fan of his music. Maybe it's just me. But.
Well, he kind of uses the same stuff, but he always gets that snappy riff or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, I totally understand that one.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
Mike Sherry, you got one final selection.
I'm going to go with Madonna.
Wow.
Oh.
When I was doing some research, I saw that was a pretty common one.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I can see that. Yeah.
Tough call.
Any reasoning behind
after
that?
After Papa Don't Preach, it's all over from there.
I think it was over before that one.
Well, yeah, probably.
I don't know. Yeah.
Once MTV died out, or music videos died out.
Yeah, the video, the
gone.
videos were cool. I think the videos made her what she was.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, just my opinion.
No, I agree.
So here we go. I guess I got it. Am I picking the winner today? Yep. So Mike Sherry's got Pink Floyd, The Who, Kiss, and Madonna. Trent has Nirvana, Nickelback, Taylor Swift, Pitbull. And Rosie has Dave Matthews Band, Grateful Dead, Drake, and the Rolling Stones. That's tough. They're all I can't say as I like any of them all that much.
It's a tie.
It could be a tie, but we are not in all participatory. How about that word? Community here.
That's right. There is no. Yeah,
there's
no one's going home with a second place. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to give the youngster his first victory of the season. I'm going to go with Trent.
Nice job.
Trent solidified it with Pitbull for me because I can't stand that guy. I can't stand that guy. I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan. I agree with you. She's whiny. She needs to go away.
And is she country or pop? I don't know.
Nobody knows.
Why does she have to be either?
Nickelback,
She's good.
I don't like Nickelback. Nirvana, I kind of like, but I get what you're saying a little bit. Mm-hmm. Second, I'm going to go with Rosie here. Sorry, Mike. Because I like Kiss, actually. I like Kiss stuff. I like some of the Who stuff. I like some of Madonna stuff, actually. That's my wheelhouse. That's the 80s.
All right. Guess we won't be partying together ever.
No.
Play some music. No. Just leave it off.
Quickly, though, before we sign off, who's your all-time favorite? I'm going to say my three favorites are Springsteen, U2, and the Beatles.
Yeah, that's good.
I got the Beatles 1. Green Day 2. I love Green Day. And I'm a Waukesha guy, so I'm going with Bodine's.
Oh, sure.
Trent?
I don't have any favorite. Like I said, I'm not a big music guy, so.
Boy, my top three are probably Motorhead, Metallica, and...
Ooh, Metallica's a good one.
I would say... Man, I don't know.
AC/DC?
Yeah, that could be in there. I listened to I would say that would probably be my third.
Everything
from the beginning to the end I listened to with AC/DC.
I wouldn't mind getting those some of my hands on Paul McCartney tickets too at Lambeau Field.
You see how expensive
they're a little pricey.
They're $8,000.
They're a little pricey for Paul. I saw Sir Paul at Old County Stadium back in 1993. Tickets were a little bit less expensive back then.
See, and that's a bonus because he hasn't come out with anything new since.
I think he's got new stuff out right now.
Oh, he does now?
Yeah, he's got a few.
Yeah, recent stuff. Actually, there's one pretty good tune in there too, so I think I might.
I know I have found myself listening to the Wings Greatest Hits CD.
Not a huge Wings fan. They got some decent stuff, but I'll definitely go Paul with the Beatles.
Oh, the Beatles for sure.
Especially their later stuff. I thought was really good.
Seeing him was always my bucket list concert, and I've never seen him, but
Springsteen's mine.
Yeah,
and then U2 I'd love to see sometime too.
$8,000 exactly.
Was U2 more than McCartney went now? Didn't they play in Chicago or something?
That I don't know.
About a year ago, I think they did, yeah.
But I wonder, when I saw the $8,000 for the McCartney tickets, I was like, you're kidding me.
Yeah, I think I saw the cheapest ones. And Press Gazette had a story. It was like $380. It was like the cheapest.
Yeah, that's pricey if you want to take a few people. I like Paul, but I'll listen on iTunes or something or throw in an old CD. So.
Yeah.
Next week, boys, Ricardo will be back, and we will debate the merits of eggnog. All right?
Ooh, I like it.
I wanted to talk about that today. That is one of my favorite holiday beverages. Plain. I love it. I love the fact that it just sits in your glass when you drink it, and more comes for you to drink a little bit later.
Right.
So we'll talk about that. Mike
I
Sherry.
won't be on the show next week, so I'll vote right now. No.
You're wrong.
No to eggnog.
Yes to eggnog. Yes.
Eggnog is the best. But Ricardo will be back in this seat next Wednesday. We will do it again for another edition of the R&B Show at noon. Again, find it on iTunes is it or
iTunes, Stitcher,
Google
and
Play. You can download the podcast. And again, next week, Wednesday, 7 o'clock, another edition of the Varsity Roundtable. Nothing this week. Mike, you survived. You did good.
Yeah, second time on the show.
Excellent job.
Once a year, you guys can have me on the show.
There we go.
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. And we will do it again next week. And here comes Dead Red right down the middle. Here we go.
Dead Red.
A little high today. I'm trying to multitask. I can't do it.
It's tough.